Welcome to Seeing Scarlet. It is Shelby. I'm here with Tyler, and we have a quick little update on a Lady Raider edition. Julie Nekolnà, a 6'3" forward from Shelton State Community College. She was a first-team JUCO All-American this past year there. She averaged 14.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds per game, 1.2 blocks per game, shot at 56.9% field goal, and played about 27 and a half minutes per game. She was a part of a team that went all the way to the JUCO National Championship game, and they lost a close one there. So she's on a winning program. They only lost 4 games all year. I think they were undefeated in conference as well. Coach Gerlich had this to say about her once she was signed earlier today. Julie is a winner. This past season, she helped lead her Shelton State team to the NJCAA National Championship game. Her basketball IQ is off the charts and a mismatch problem at the forward position. She provides us another rebounder and an efficient finisher at the rim. Julie is a special person, and we can't wait to share her story with Lady Raider Nation. So that's what Gerlich had to say about her. I gave you a little bit of a brief stat overview. Tyler, our guy here, found some more notes and some records and things she did while she was at at Shelton State. So let the people know what you got on her.
Yeah, I have a few of her, conference and basketball records. I think that from that quote, I'm really interested to kind of see what her story is because there's not a whole lot of articles that I could have found with her name in it or about her story. So hopefully we'll get to see over the summer, maybe with some content series when we get to know all of our newcomers more about her, because I think that'd be cool because she is from the Czech Republic. Mm-hmm. But some of the things she was able to do at the JUCO level was she was obviously the first team All-American for all of JUCO. In her conference, the ACCC, I'm just going to say ACCC, she was the player of the year this past year, first team All-ACCC, and the all-tournament team for the ACCC, all in this past year. She really had a big jump from her freshman to sophomore year at the level, definitely upped her rebounding, her blocking, her shooting, all the above in that category. Some things that she did set for her program was she was top 12 all-time in points per game, top 3 all-time in career blocks, and top 3 all-time in career field goal percentage. And she also was able to record a few things. She recorded 9 career double-doubles, 43 career double-figure scoring games, and 10 career double-figure rebound games. And the happiest stat that I have on here is she was an 80.6 free throw shooter, and that's where she improved drastically. Yes, because free throws is honestly what ended our run in the WBIT, ended maybe even making some more waves in conference play this year. So 80.6 free throw shooter. If she's out there and she gets to the line, I do have a lot of faith in that. And she jumped drastically. I think she was only 50%, and then she shot up to 80.6%. It took a lot more attempts. So she definitely got more aggressive in the paint throughout that. So that was kind of some things that I picked up on and read about her that I think are pretty cool.
I love that. Yeah, she's an interesting player to try to get a read on, to be honest. It's not, like you said, there's not a lot of tape out there on JUCO players in general. It's one of those where if I had known this was someone they were considering a month ago, then you could have watched it live, like when they were in the JUCO national tournament. But those games don't exist on the stream on demand world very long because it is JUCO basketball. I did find one game. I don't have any clips from it, though, but you can go find it. Their semifinal game. So I watched a good bit of that because, again, I don't like to go off highlight packages. Y'all have heard me say this a lot. I can't learn much from a highlight package other than, oh, that's in her bag. That's cool. But, does she pull it out of her bag consistently or not? I need to see a full game, not them spliced together. And so I watched it, and she definitely is a mismatch. I see what Gerlich's saying because she's 6'3", and she can move pretty well, and we've talked about it before. Those are a dying breed at the women's basketball level. A lot of those 6'3" players that can move and have decent athleticism are staying with volleyball, or they're doing something else. And so to me, she's a player where hey, let's bring her in and see if we can develop her. That's what I saw on tape. I don't know if I see an impact. She's going to be a major part of the rotation player right now, but doesn't mean I can't be wrong on that. I do see a player that plays hard. She is fundamental. She blocks out really well, which your girl over here loves. Anybody that blocks out, for the love of God, just block out. It's simple stuff. She does the simple stuff, which I like. In a high school interview, well, actually, we'll show her high school stats in a minute. But to continue on that thought, I think she just needs to get more aggressive, and I think you'll see that in even some of these clips. We have some clips from her high school days, and you'll see that. is a little bit tentative, and that's what concerns me about the Big 12 level. But we'll see how that changes over the summer. Maybe just being around Big 12 level athletes will bring that dog out in her, so to speak. Y'all know I like the dog factor. I don't know if I see that yet, but doesn't mean someone can't bring it out in her. So quickly, some high school stats before we go into these highlights that we found for you. You talked about her story a little bit. A big part of her story is she was an exchange student from the Czech Republic to a random high school in Alabama that was historically one of the worst high school programs in the state of Alabama, from what I read. And all of a sudden, she shows up. They didn't really know. I don't know that she came for basketball. She wanted to come here and get better at basketball. Czech Republic, it's not a huge sport there. There's stories on her about how she knew what she was coming here for and she wanted to play basketball somewhere. I don't know how she ended up at that school, but they were like, she was just widely better than anything they had. And she was basically playing a point forward for them. You'll see that in the highlights. It was kind of silly. It was a 5A high school, though. I think they won the most games in school history, won the district championship, made it pretty deep into the state playoffs as well. She was a first team All-State honoree at the 5A level, and she was a 5A player finalist of the year, player of the year finalist in Alabama that year. 27-7 record for the team, averaged 21.9 points per game and 10.5 rebounds per game. Also, I think it was like 4 or 5 assists per game, and like it was just crazy numbers. Like she was just, which again, any player that makes it to the power conference level is going to have been a star at high school. So she at least checks that box off. Let's show you some of these. We're not going to show you the whole shebang because it's about 5 minutes long, but you'll get a little bit of taste of what she was doing at that level. Again, she's basically playing point guard in these highlights, which makes me laugh. This is her bringing the ball up the court. She was very much a mismatch at that level. You'll see that a lot. I think in all of these highlights, she's bringing the ball up. There she is again, taking just off the dribble. They just couldn't stop her, to be honest. Couldn't do it. Yep, just did what she wanted. She can't shoot it okay. Yeah, even in the JUCO game I watched, she wasn't afraid to take some elbow jumpers and stuff, which is good to see. She didn't shoot it a ton at the JUCO level 3, but Tyler did note she shot it a lot more her sophomore year from that area, so maybe it's in her. Like, she's just dribbling through everybody. So I'm not going to show you all these highlights. This is high school. Doesn't mean much as far as is she going to translate to the Big 12. Not particularly, but again, if you're going to be a power conference player, you damn sure better have dominated at the high school level, and she did. She dominated. And that was in her first year of playing American basketball, which she talked about, and they asked her in an interview in high school what the difference was, and I appreciate that she's self-aware. That's what I'll say. Because in this interview, they asked her, and she said the biggest difference between the Czech Republic and American basketball that she had to adjust to is the confidence factor in America. I think I couldn't quite understand what she was getting at, but I think she was talking about it's more of a team pass the ball around defensive type game in the Czech Republic. Here, she said it's more about offense. She said it's a little easier to score here, which you actually hear a lot of European players say is because it's so rough and tough sometimes, which is ironic because then at the same time I'm like, she's a little soft at times in my opinion, but it is physical. I don't know. The defense is a lot harder to score against in the Czech Republic. Maybe the rules and stuff, or in Europe in general. You hear a lot of Europeans say that. Luka Doncic always talked about how much easier it was to score in the NBA than in the pro ranks, for instance, over in Europe. She talked about that in this interview, but she also said here you have to have the confidence to shoot. And that's something she had to learn even when she was averaging 22 points a game. Early in that season, she was passing it too much, she said. So she had to learn to take those shots, and that confidence came as she went. So I see that in the one I've watched about 1.5 JUCO games. It's all I could find of her. So take my opinion for what it's worth. I see that tentativeness to kind of be a part of the action sometimes. I would love to watch more of her tape because I feel like her numbers look really good. She was the player of the year of the conference and all these things. So and she did it consistently over 2 years. She has all these school records and all those things. Are top 10. So she wasn't like a mirage. So she's a solid player in that way. But when I watch her, if y'all want my honest opinion, I just see a developmental, pretty raw piece, but she does have a high basketball IQ according to Gerlich. Little bit aloof out there sometimes, though. The games I watched, does block out, rebounds well, runs the floor. Again, I wouldn't call her a fluid athlete by any means, but she can run the floor. And she has good length. Can't teach that. Can't teach size and length. She has that. Gonna need to learn how to set better screens. I'm a stickler for those. Y'all know that. So I loved her blocking out. Wasn't a big fan of the screens that I saw. A lot of ghost screens, I would call them. And I don't think they were supposed to be ghost screens. There was no contact made. Our new coach, Coach Chappell, is going to get her right on that. But she does shoot it well from the free throw line. She isn't afraid to take shots from that area in live game action either, mid-range shots. She has some pretty good post moves. She posts up really hard on tape. I'll give her that. Like, she posts up. She gets down there, she puts a body on someone, and she's calling for the ball. They weren't always giving it to her, though. And sometimes she got it in traffic. She would panic a little bit. Again, this is only in one game. So it's just like stuff that's going to have to be really worked on. I think she's going to have to get in the weight room at Texas Tech this summer. She's going to have to get a lot tougher to be able to actually play at the Big 12 level, in my opinion. But for, the 9th, 10th, 11th person on the roster to throw a dart at a 6'3" JUCO All-American that can move and run the floor. You did that last year with a Sarah Sonogo, and it worked out pretty well. Different players, I want to be clear. But she was kind of that last add on the roster, and it worked out pretty well. This one just came a lot earlier in the process, and so I think people might get confused on what she is or isn't, but that's just when she got here on campus. So that's overall. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm not trying to set up for failure either and be like, oh yeah, this is a starter. To me, she is Jalen Bristow is your starting four. We've talked about her, and she's going to need people to come in behind her. Can this girl earn a spot? We'll see how she works. She probably has 3 years of college basketball left, so this might not be a next year thing. It could be a down the road thing. But I've seen crazier things. You get them on campus, they toughen up real quick. They're around that level of player. She gets a little more dog in her, gets a little more strength in her in the weight room, sets some tougher screens, gets a part of the action more. She can rebound for sure, and she clearly can score at that level. We'll see if it translates. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to be honest, y'all. Y'all know how I am, but sounds like a really cool person, great teammate, good, gonna work hard in practice, gonna push our players, and if she gets her chance, she'll go out there and take it.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it's probably a developmental project, but that's what I'm excited about just because maybe Katara, is gonna have maybe like one of her first. I know she's developed a lot of recruits, so she can come in here and really work with her. I definitely do like the fact if all she's gonna come in and be able to do at the Big 12 level is block out and rebound, that's something we will probably are gonna need, especially if people are getting fouled out, and then she needs to come in and help us out a bit. I'm sure we'll get to see her a lot in non-con. And hopefully, if games start getting really out of hand for that other team, and we can see how she matches up against some other D1 talent. But definitely, I think I'm sure she's super excited. I'm excited to kind of see what she'll end up turning up to be. But getting first team in JUCO, I mean, there's a lot of JUCO teams out there and a lot of talent. So I mean, there is something to be said about that. But definitely interested and excited to see what she'll turn out to end up being.
Yeah, comes from a winning program, shoots free throws well, rebounds. We love those things. Just needs to get a little bit more aggressive, needs to get probably a little bit tougher, and just want to be a part of the action more. That's my only things that I watch on tape for her to be a true impact player this year. But you never say never. Get her out there, get her to work. If she wins the job, good for her. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Can't wait to hear more about her story, as Coach Gerlich talked about. Happy she's a Lady Raider. Happy that she is happy to be a Lady Raider. And we'll learn more about Julie Nekolnà. Say that. That's how you say that. That's how she said her own name, so I'm going with it. But we'll learn more about her as she gets on campus, and we go from there. So that is your new Lady Raider. There are definitely more to come, and we'll do more reports on them as they are announced. So that's what I got. Until next time, rag 'em.